Now, let's switch to something that is also making the rounds, the fact that our president currently travels only through rented or rental planes whenever he's going to Europe or to the United States. The only time you will see him using our national flight, which is the Falcon 900 or EX, is when he's going to other African countries. We've actually even seen the Liberian president on 2 occasions use the Ghanaian Falcon 900 in traveling to Ghana for the ECOWAS meeting on Guinea and back to Liberia. And so this is raising all kinds of questions. And then we heard that the presidency or the Airforce is planning to acquire a bigger airplane for our presidents. So the question people are asking is, in this time of COVID, where we are all tightening our belts, in this time of COVID, where our economy is not growing as much as we forecasted it was going to grow years before COVID came, or we are not able to see the pre-COVID level of GDP, etc., etc. Should we be, spending money buying a bigger flight for our president? Can this wait to when we get back to fully recovered, where people are employed? Should we wait for that time or times like that to actually acquire another plane for our president? The one we currently have, what actually is wrong with it? Other countries have the same thing. Theirs are older than ours, and they are using it to travel even to the United Nations, where they were coming for the same meeting that we went, which is the General Assembly. Other presidents in Africa travel with Falcon 900, which is a lot older than the one we currently have. So is it the right thing to do at this time, at this particular moment, when Ghanaians are being asked to tighten their belts? I would take Efa first on this one. Efa, do you think, buying a presidential jet at this point is the right thing to do?
Can I go first and put my case down that he can rebuttal it? Because there's no justification.
Paul, you're good to go. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Paul.
Look, Alfred.
Yes, sir.
So listen to me. A decorated monkey will always remain to be a monkey, no matter how you decorate it.
Okay.
This president, no matter how or no matter what we say about the way he's misusing the taxpayers' money, he will always give us a dead ear on it. He will never listen to the people that he promised on 7th January 2017, that he was going to protect the public purse. Anyway, just to put on record, that speech was plagiarized. So let me just add that one. He stole the speech of former president of America, George W. Bush speech. So let's put that on record. He plagiarized that speech and said he was going to protect the public purse. And somebody who came into government saying, touting himself as uncorruptible, has now become a king of corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Alfred, why am I saying this?
Right.
Ghana does not need a presidential jet as we speak. We have a presidential jet, the Falcon presidential jet is there. That jet is just 10 years old. Let's make and establish that fact. That's number one. Number two, the reason why this has become an issue and we are all talking about it is that just in 2019, 9 months in 2019, the president, per the Auditor General's report, the president of Ghana, this insensitive president, spent 64 million Ghana cedi only on presidential travels. And if I take it to the old currency, which my mother and my uncle and my mother-in-law will understand, is 640 billion cedi.
Yeah.
That's the amount they spent only in 9 months on presidential travel.
Mm-hmm.
And the question comes, what at all is involved in that huge amount? The good news is that we thank God for COVID. Even though COVID is not good, 2020, because of COVID, this insensitive president never traveled out of the country because he could not travel out. He was in the country. But in 2021, as we speak, the president has spent 10 million Ghana cedi, which is 100 billion on currency only on his traveling. And the question is, what is contributing to this? The president has refused to use the Falcon jet that we spent $45 million in purchasing about 10 years ago. And he's decided to live as an Arabian king. He's decided to live as, the king and be on the superstar that he wants to be. That is why in these difficult times where there is COVID, where the economy is not growing, where public sector workers are crying for pay increase, and he has only given them 4% increment, and he has given himself 79% increment. The thing the president has decided to use the taxpayers' money for is to be renting a jet which costs us £15,000 an hour. Alfred, the £15,000 an hour, do you know what it can do to a village school in my country, £15,000 an hour, 2 hours, £30,000 can build a whole school for a village in my hometown, But this president has decided to rent a luxurious jet because he wants to sleep and wake up and take a shower in the sky, so that when he gets off the plane, he can walk into his meeting. This is so disappointing and so sad. Is this the president who promised the good people of Ghana that he was going to protect the public purse? Someone who said he was going to protect the public purse has ended up, spending on the public purse. Alfred, whether we like it or not, the presidential jet that we have, there is nothing wrong with it. It is airworthy, and if I agree with me, if an aircraft is not airworthy, you cannot take it, you cannot fly it. Once this presidential jet, which the Minister for Defense, Honorable Dominic Nitiu, has come to Parliament to announce to the whole world that the presidential jet is airworthy, there is no any excuse this super incompetent president will give us that we will accept it.
Right.
The minority in Parliament has taken a stand. We will not be part of this buying of this president's new presidential jet for this president just because of his comfort.
But Paul, some will say this argument is something that we always have, in Ghana. Started from the Rollins time when he was trying to buy, is it DC-10 or something like that? He was buying for the government then. We had this conversation.
This is a different case. We have a presidential jet which is just 10 years old. Do you know what it means to be 10 years old? A jet? A plane is made. Do you know the lifespan of a plane?
Right.
It should take over 25 years before you can decide to change the plane.
Right.
As we speak, we have other presidents from other countries who are using presidential jet that is as old as 20 years old. And today I was listening to Dr. Gideon Beko on Newsfire. And he really pissed me off. What are his reasons? That when the president sits and somebody sits behind him, the president cannot even stretch his legs. That is shameful. And that the presidential jet, because in 2018, the president came to the UN conference, and when they were about to take off, the president developed a fault. So the security expert have advised him not to use the jet, which whenever he's making any trip, which is more than 4 hours. Look, Mr. Amuzu, that presidential jet that they are talking about found itself in France. We are asking questions. A question has been filed in Parliament. We want to know who used that jet. As of today, we don't know who used the jet. The presidential jet, the Falcon, we have, there's nothing wrong with it. We are looking for the safety and protection of our president, because Nanado is a super incompetent president. I don't want him to be the president. I will not look for his death. That one far behind that. Nobody in the opposition is looking for the security or to put the security of the president online. What we are saying is that we are in difficult times. This is not the time for this super incompetent, insensitive government to be talking about buying a new presidential jet. This is not the time.
So you don't have problem with buying a jet. The problem you have is the times that we are trying to buy one.
Alfred, it's not about the problem. It's about the
If
timing.
we have money and
Alfred, we
the
don't have the
president is not
money.
able
If
to travel.
we have the money, they should pay and they should build hospitals so that my niece and my nephews, my cousins back home in Ghana, who goes to hospital and they lie on the floor, they stop lying on the floor.
But
they
you see,
use the money
Paul,
to invest into that.
The issue here is, when the president travels, sometimes of course he travels with his entourage of some cabinet members, some assistants who would help him on the trip, and journalists who would also be on the trip to take note of all the meetings that he's attending and capture those for our consumption. Now it is that when he's traveling, some of his entourage will have to take another plane or be on commercial to meet him over there, and the journalists will have to fly on commercial and etc. So it is important that we get a plane that can haul our president and the entire team.
Mr. Amuzu, Mr. Amuzu, that's not the case. Listen to me. The Falcon jet president that we have takes 17 people.
Yeah, but when the trip is long, they cut it down to about 11 or 12 people.
No, it's not true. It is not true.
Yeah,
when the trip is long, they cut it down to 15.
Okay.
They cut it down to 15. This Arabia prestigious extravagant jet that the president is hiring takes 19 people.
Right.
And in the night, they cut the number down to 17. So two difference.
So the difference is about just two
the difference
people,
is what is he going to do? Look, this super incompetent and insensitive president has no excuse, has no justification to convince and tell us that he wants to buy a new presidential jet. There is no reason. You understand me? For his comfort, if you want a jet that he can sleep in it and take a shower in the sky, you should wait. When he's out of government and he gets his gratuity, then he can buy those planes himself and then be doing that. For now, he's a public servant, the number one gentleman of the land, a public servant, and he need to cut his coat according to his size.
Okay.
He cannot be spending the taxpayers' money paying £15,000 an hour with an airline renting a prestigious jet. And don't forget that when the jet is sitting out on the tarmac, we are still paying for it because it's still under our jurisdiction. And I know if I'll come and talk about security. Look, Alfred, having your own national security people mounting a jet as compared to getting people you don't know from anywhere flying you, which one is safer?
Right. In other words, flying with our own Airforce.
What if those people flying those private jets? What if somebody knows somebody on the jet and the person will give the money and the person try to bring the jet down?
Right.
You see, so when you talk about security, they have no case. When it comes to talk about common sense, there's no common sense that they can use to justify why they need a new jet. When it comes to talk about, looking at our economic situation, look at the way people are suffering in Ghana. Look at the way things are difficult in Ghana. And you want to go and buy a new presidential jet? Look, Mr. Amuzu, let me also put it on record that this president, since taking power in 2017, has borrowed 216 billion Ghana cedi. When you take it into the old currency, do you know how much it is? 216 trillion. What have they used the money for? And I know my brother, if I'll come and tell me they've paid the loans. If you are paying loans with the money, why is it that our loans is where it is not reducing? Look, for me and the NDC and the minority, we've taken a stand. We will not be part in purchasing this new jet. If they want to do it by themselves, the consequences they're waiting for them. But for me, there's no any justification, and I don't think if I can justify or give a reason why they want to purchase a new jet, whilst we have one sitting down on the tarmac. So the question I asked myself this morning, what are they going to do with the one day? Are they going to sell it?
Yeah, I believe so.
What are they going to do with it? They've not even given us the fine details. Whether they're going to sell that one, the money they're going to get, and they'll add money to buy a new one. Nobody's telling us anything. All I am saying is that the Falcon, is it Falcon 300 or Falcon jet that the president used is airworthy. There's nothing wrong with it. And don't forget, when this president took power in 2017, this jet was taken back and it was retrofitted, customized to suit his taste. So why are you going to buy a new jet? There's no need for buying a new jet. The president has been able, once Oponria, President Oponria is able to fly on this jet,
Right.
and nothing happened to him. Our president is so expected to fly on our jet. In any case, I know if I is going to play mischief over here. It was only once, and the records are there, that President Mahama rented a private jet when he was the president. And in that instant, the Falcon was sent for servicing. It was not available. That was the only time that he rented a jet. And the jet he rented, it was equivalent to the Falcon that the president uses. In any instances, President Kufuor, President Mills, President Mahama, they've all flown commercial flight, first class. Why can't this insensitive president do the same?
Right.
What is wrong with it? What's stopping him from flying on first class on commercial flight and save us from this $10 million, which is 100 billion old Ghana cedi that they've spent on his travel alone? Don't forget, hotel bills are not part of it.
Right.
Don't forget the cognac and the whiskey and then the brandies are not part of it. Those are not part of the cost. That is why, as we speak, the minority have asked that they should put out the cost of the president traveling. The Minister for Information came. The Minister for Defense came and said the Minister for Finance will provide it. Minister of Finance came. He's now saying that Minister of Security will provide it, whether they like it or not. Parliament is going back next 2 weeks. And Honorable Okuru-Jeto Abakwa will make sure that this information will be made public, because the taxpayer deserve to know how much we are spending on our president just because of his comfort, just because he wants to be in the sky and fly and take a shower in the sky on us, which unfortunately my brother, if I will come to defend him, will not have the opportunity also to fly with him and take a shower. That's only what hurts me. And
all right, let's bring a fine and see if the opportunity is there for him to take a shower as well. So
there's not going to be opportunity for him anyway. He will never take a shower. It's only the president and his family who always take a shower in the sky. If I will never take the shower, I know for a fact.
All right. So what do you think? Do you think it's the timing for this it's appropriate that when we are all being asked to tighten our belts, when the country is not growing as fast as we want it to, when we are accumulating debts at proportions unheard of, that's the right thing to be doing at this point to be trying to buy a jet? Do you think we should put that on hold for a little bit until when we turn things around in order to buy the jet? Or are you part of those who say the president need a bigger flight so that he can travel with his entourage all in the same flight?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alfred. You see, Paul is funny, and this is funny. Now, you remember the bus branding, right? You remember the bus branding?
Absolutely, yeah.
That the government sat down and said that, you see, he's enumerating problems. That schools, we need money for schools. We need money for. Do you know how much we're spending with the bus branding that it became a problem? That the government sat down and said we needed money for schools, we needed money for roads, we needed money for this. That they will put the faces of ex-presidents on a bus. Of what benefit is that to us?
How much was spent in that?
Oh, hold on, I'm coming. I'm advancing my point. Of what benefit is that to us? But they did it as a government, right? Now, when Kufuor realized that there was the need for a befitting presidential place, NDC, go and look at it, they opposed it to the brim, to the point where it was a presidential campaign that they were going to turn it into a hen coop, into a place to raise chicken. But they were the first to use it, right? When Kufuor was leaving power, he realized that, you see, some of the travels are small, okay? Some of the travels are just small, like within West Africa, you don't need this big. When you are attending some ceremonies or things like that, you don't need that big jet. So when Kufuor was leaving, right, he was even not going to
buy a second one.
He made arrangement for two, a smaller one, the Falcon, and then a bigger one to go on a bigger travels. Okay, he made all those arrangements, and then Mills came. They used it for campaign, and when they came, they said, "No, we didn't need a bigger one. We need a Falcon." Now, he is, you see, for purposes of argument and for purposes of all this, he is saying that, oh, the time the president used it was when he was in servicing and blah, blah, blah. But the truth of the matter is, you see, even if we buy the bigger one, there is always going to be part of the officials that have to go ahead of the travels, all of it, everywhere. You know, these are matters. Others will always not travel with the president, even though they are part of it. The security details will do advance and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you want to take it, you want to leave it and all that kind of stuff. So it has always been an issue. And Mahama did not use it once. We can go for the records and bring them out here. So, you see, he talks about blah, 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 blah. So on what basis will Mahama not use the Falcon to go wherever he wanted to go, but, you know, decided to use another plane? And when
Mahama rented a plane once because the Falcon was out of service.
It wasn't once. No, it wasn't once. It wasn't once. So, okay, if Mahama used it once, he said Mills also used when commercial. On what basis did he use? The truth of the matter is, it is not every journey that you go. There are too many. If you even consider the cost implication and all that, it's not even worth it. Okay, so that is that. So we can go on that and all that. You see, the last time we had a discussion, I said this as if I'm not a prophet. I said we will come back to it. And even as we are discussing this, we are not even discussing the solution. The solution is what the president is with. But I also have another one. What is the government's policy? What is the existing policy when it comes to a situation where the jet is on maintenance, the jet cannot fly it along, or whatever is the reason for which we need to purchase one? What is the policy guideline for us as a country? You see, we should not speak as if the president sits down and say and bring if Mahama were to be president, he will sit down and say, hey, go for this. No president does that. Okay, it is a policy guideline, which is a coordination between the Ministry of Defense and this, and they make all these arrangements and, you know, they determine. So, for instance, if it is a West African, have you ever heard them go within West Africa and have rented anything before? No, they don't do that. They've never done that. It is only these long journeys. Okay? Now, yes, we need it. We need it. When is the right time? You see, if you listen to their conversation, they're always going to talk about money, money, money. Yeah. You see, I will sit down here and I will say it again and again. We have the money to do whatever we want to do in the country. Don't come and sit on radio and say, there is a budget for the school. There is the budget for the presidential. There is the budget for this. We need this.
It's true that
Oh, yes. Yetinasikaso. As I said, we have the money and we have it. We have not been able to put certain things in place for which, you know, we have shortcomings in other places. And you see, we shouldn't talk as if for purposes of politics, time is not right. This is not this. All that is not that. We need schools and all that. We need school. We have to budget for the schools. Now, we are here talking about...
the average person is being asked to pay... even this year alone, a couple of additional taxes. I mean, there was...
Hold on, we can.
So the average person is feeling like you are asking me to pay taxes on each gallon of petrol I buy so that you can support COVID relief and all that.
Right.
But at the same time, you are telling me that you have enough money to go and buy a new plane.
So we are here and people are quoting one presidential travel, which anyway, officially they've been what is his name? Ablakwa has been told that he's peddling falsehood. Officially, he's been told that what he's peddling is falsehood. He just go on the internet and do calculations and bring it on there.
Eugene, who said Ablakwa was peddling falsehood, didn't even himself give anything out. He just said...
So here's it, Alfred. Since we began doing discussions on when have they ever put some of these things on, like the military budget and all that kind of stuff. These are things they don't make public because it's quote unquote under security. But I mean, that is subject to whatever and whatever. When Abrokwa filed you see, he was talking about cost, right? When he filed the first question for the minister to come, he did not talk about cost. Because you see, you file the question to the speaker, and the speaker determines the appropriateness and other aspects of it. When the minister came, did you hear anybody asking him about this cost and cost? So they can play propaganda and they can do whatever they want to do with these things.
But my thing is that questions on the floor.
Yeah. You see, there is what they say on radio, and there is what they do behind the radio, and this is very, very, very annoying. Now you say the president travel caused this. When you are filing, I am saying it caused this. So come and disprove me whether. But you go and check the question they're going to file. The minister will come, and cost will not even be part of it. But that is that. Let us come back to the issue. Let's even say what Ablokwa is saying is true, right? Let's even say it's true. Which is cost effective? Buying the jet, buying a bigger one, or continuously going on this tangent? Which is true, and whatever each person want to choose.
I mean, you are just, why are you not considering more than just those two options? It has to be buying the jet, continuing to rent, or sticking to the Falcon 900.
The Falcon 900 cannot travel. Now, the Falcon 900, when they say it's airworthy, what it means is that it can fly, but it cannot fly to a certain distance. They're proving that not to be true. They're saying the only reason that the Minister of Defense says the only reason that the president rented a flight, which was silly to start with, is that the president has to freshen up in the air. Oh,
He couldn't give another reason for
no.
Because the flight couldn't go beyond a certain number of hours.
But Alfred, no. It was just one of the reasons he gave. It wasn't like we are renting because we want the president to take a shower. No, that's not what they say. They talk about how big it is, the entourage and stuff like that, right? Like when you come into the UN, there are a couple of other stuff. And then he added that, they want a situation where he freshen up and go straight into because maybe they will fly, and when they get there, he cannot go to all these we can take it up. But what I'm saying is the policy guideline. And I'm really disappointed in Ablokwa leading all these things without a solution. And all they say is that it's airworthy, go take it. Now, it is not the president who determines these things. You see, there is a difference between Nana Akufo-Addo and the presidency of Ghana. If you don't understand these two, then I don't know what to tell you, right? For instance, during Atamil's time, he was saying some things. He wanted to take something off protocol. And then they had to tell him, no, Mr. President, this one, it is not your choice. It is for the security of the country because we are doing it. Sometimes they show us a video of a president riding on a horse. Do you know how many security details have been positioned in all places that you don't see? So you can decide not to take this one and go that way, but they have to make extra and special arrangement to make sure that your security is intact. Okay, that is why we have the all those details, the minister in charge of security, the minister in charge of defense, the foreign ministry. So they coordinate and they come to that conclusion that this is what it is. What I am aspiring Ablokwa to do is to ask what goes into determining this or that. And that if it is not right, they institute either a private law or force a legislation to come up with a policy that guides this. Other than using it for politics and Arabian king and blah blah blah. If you see right now, if we make arrangement to purchase this, it is not for Nana Akufo-Addo. It's not going to leave when he goes away. No, it will be for the president of Ghana.
Right.
So what is this? He wants to leave an Arabian king and blah blah blah. Now, talking about cost, right? He just pushed away. Tell them to go. Let's even take the Fourth Republic, right? In the situation where they've not used the Falcon, how much is the cost? And they are talking about saving the public purse. Let me not even go there. I have been giving you that we have saved the public purse more than any president. Now, when we came,
but they're telling you that you've been the luckiest government, in the Fourth Republic. You have 3 oil fields simultaneously being drilled simultaneously. You've taken the biggest of loans, and they're also saying you really don't have much to show for it. So yeah, so it is not like this government is comparable to all the other governments before it. This government has the most of resources, so you should expect certain accomplishments from the government.
Okay, which accomplishments are there? We can go into that. But I'm talking about specifically saving the public purse. Well, we're not here. I even forgot. We were supposed to even have have discussed the citing agreement. 1.2 billion was going to go down the drain. 1.2 billion, we saved the country or that. Now, before we came into power, there was a road contract. You know, they have certificates of whatever for them to be paid. 1 billion was taken out of it. These are all things we've saved for the good people of Ghana. Now, if we had not come, if we MPP had not come, free SHS would not have been done on the massive scale. Do you know how much money we've spent in that area? Huh?
I mean, free SHS,
79 billion all going into the pockets of Ghanaians. So we have saved the people of Ghana money. We have put money into the pockets of people of Ghana. Right? We've done that. Employment and all these kind of stuff, and we continue to do more. So you see, we can debate issues based on, you know, thematic areas. We don't have to box all of them in, right? But this jet, to me, I am not defending the government. Instead of us renting commercial flights and all these kind of stuff, I believe that if we got to do the cost, right? That which is more cost effective. But we are here and they're quoting millions and billions and this and this and that. How much is the jet going to cost us? And then they say, no, we don't want it. We don't want to use it and all that kind of stuff. You can take your stand. For some of us, we think it's important. Kufuor, if they had bought it when Kufuor proposed it, we wouldn't have been in this situation. It would have been for us. It is not every travels. You see, even in our own life, right? Even in our own life, sometimes you want to do some travels. You take a bigger car. You want to do some, you know, in small rounds. You don't need to take this Escalade around because you just want to just a stone throw away. You use a smaller one. You know, and we are capable of buying and we are capable of providing this comfort for you. And talking about traveling and making the money, they said the same thing about Kufuor. But you see, just go and check the foreign money that we pushed into the economy. And we've done a lot in terms of, you know, bringing in the international. Look at what we are facing now with the COVID. The president goes here, they say, hey, we are ready to do this. The president goes here, they say, we are ready to do this for you. And we need all these things to be able to take up, you know, the security and the health and all these needs of the country into consideration and put ourselves out there. So for me, it's important. It is not, you know me, you know, if I personally don't believe it, I'm not going to. But this one, I think that instead of us spending and giving money out privately that they're putting up, which is false, then it's better we get our own and then case closed. You know, but as usual, they're going to oppose every single thing. They oppose the Jubilee House, they oppose free SHS, they oppose, give me the list. The list is endless. Ghana card, they oppose, they're going to oppose every single thing. So it is one of those things, right? We need policy alternatives. What would you have done? Under the circumstances, they shouldn't tell us that somebody is more frugal than others. No. You use the money on bus branding and other stuff. You think so? You think it is important to brand a bus instead of giving us a school or hospital? Hell no, we don't think so.
Okay, let me bring
Mr. Muzu, before you bring in Ato, who is going to be your neutral guest. Look, let me just rebuttal some lies. I hate to say lies, but I'm forced to say lies.
I was going to bring you after Ato because maybe Ato would have already rebutted.
No. Let me outline some misinformation that my brother has put out
Can you
here.
do it
Number
in
one,
1 minute, please.
1 minute. Number one, bus branding. Okay, bus branding. When the incident happened, and then we all saw that there was misappropriation of funds. The president ordered. And that project was cancelled. The money was returned back to the state. So I don't know what he's using the case for. Number two, it is not true that when they took power, road contract, they saved 1 billion Ghana cedi. As now, you know, we all know over here that we've asked that they should produce that evidence. That evidence have never been submitted. So they should stop lying. Number two, for him to say that the president traveling and that like COVID, blah, blah. Look, whether the president traveled or not, the US government, the German government, Western countries' government has promised to give COVID vaccine to developing countries, which Ghana is part of it. So whether the president traveled or not, we're going to get it. So you cannot count COVID vaccine as an achievement of the president traveling. That is why you should rent a 15,000 plane. Number 4,
Right, but
let's
the ones
also
that
put
we
it on
use
record.
from the travel are things that are outside
is-
from the COVAX scheme. So,
Massa, whether he traveled or not, we're going to get it. Number 4, let me also put on record, if I try to trace the fact, the Falcon that is sitting down there can fly 9 hours non-stop. Let's make and establish that fact. The capacity of the Falcon is 17 people, and in the night it takes 15 people. The Arabian plane that this insensitive president is renting takes 19 people at a time, and in the night takes 17 people. So I am saying that when it comes to capacity, you have no justification. When it comes to flying non-stop 9 hours, that plane that the president brought to the US just last week made a stop on the way.
So why do you think the president is interested in the newer plane then? If the capacity is not an issue, the range is not an issue, then what is it?
Because he wants to live as an Arabian king. That is the fundamental issue. And the last point I want to make is that when they say a plane is airworthy, okay, it is airworthy, it can travel to anywhere in the world. The only thing you need to do is to refuel. And refuel takes about 30 to 40 minutes. And let me also put it on record that even when the president returned from the US about some few days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, they made a stop at Cape Verde to refuel. With this luxurious jet that he rented, paying 15,000 pounds an hour, they stopped at Cape Verde to refuel. So, I mean, they have no justification whatsoever to go in for this new jet. And for a fact to be saying that they have to buy, we have the money. We don't have the money. That is why we go for IMF and we go and borrow money. That is why when the COVID came, this insensitive government ran to IMF and IMF gave them $1 billion. As we speak, we hosted a program. If I run away, he did not appear on the program because he couldn't account for that $1 billion that the IMF and World Bank gave to us. So if I should not come and sit here and be throwing dust into our eyes, I rest my case.
All right, let's bring in our doctor of nursing, Dr. Atokomina Danso, who's usually canvassing the neutral point of view for us. He's also a photographer. He has so many secret talents. If I want to list them, we'll be here for the rest of the day. So, Dr. Ato, thanks for joining us again. And we've been talking about the fact that the current government wants to acquire a new jet so that, you know, the president will desist from continuing to rent planes each time he has to travel to Europe or to the United States. We are saying that this particular time when the president is asking all Ghanaians to tighten their belts, introduce multiple taxes in order to take care of COVID and, you know, the legacy, energy debt, etc., etc. It's not the time to want to spend money on a jet when we already have one that can take him to whatever destination he wants to go through. What are your views on this? Do you think it's appropriate for the president to buy a presidential jet at this point?
So before I start, I would say it's a pleasure joining you every Saturday for the program. My greetings to Paul and Ifa, and I wish I had heard what Paul has said about this topic. And again, I apologize for being tardy today. I mean, we have 3 options. We have the Falcon option as the airplane we have for the presidency. Second one is renting, and the third one is buying. The second one, we all agree that it's very expensive. Renting is very expensive. Now, the first one, using the Falcon, we all agree. I mean, that is a bone of contention. The NDC is saying that the Falcon is airworthy. It can fly 9 hours non-stop. It can take X amount of people. The NPP is saying that is not airworthy. It means that, say, if it's not airworthy, that means that we may have to buy a new one. So let's go with the Falcon. I am really concerned that if the president is renting a plane anytime he has to travel, then it appears that there may have been a problem with that Falcon. And the Americans will say, better safe than sorry. So I would like, if I give a car to, say, my wife or, say, a family member, and they tell me that, oh, the car is not running well, I would err on the side of caution. But the fact that Mahama was using the plane 4 years ago, 5 years ago, doesn't necessarily mean that right now the plane is in this current shape. So I would think about the other options. So I'm saying that the fact that Mahama used the plane for say 4 years or say 8 years and it was in good condition doesn't mean that currently it's in good condition. Because I have a car. I have a Toyota Camry. The fact that I used it for 8 years and I gave it to my wife and she is saying that the car is not good doesn't mean that the fact that I used it for 8 years, the car is still running. Like I said, better safe than sorry. God forbid, if ever, this plane develops any faults and something happens to our president, then what are we to say? Then we all will sit back and be very sorry for ourselves. Like what happened to our president at Tamils? People made fun of the way he spoke. But when later we realized that he had cancer, people were really sorry for what really happened. So I'm saying that let's go to the second option. Second option, we all agree, is renting is ridiculous. It's expensive. Now the third option, I am not against the third option, but my issue is just the amount that we spend, the amount that we would come up and say, the amount that we probably will not go through any kind of tender process. All we will hear is that we bought a plane. So my focus is just on the third part, because it appears this government, vis-a-vis the airport vaccine issue. I mean, look at the amounts people are paying. That was done by sole sourcing. Look at the vaccine purchase, the Russian vaccine purchase. It was done by sole sourcing. So that is my concern. I feel like there's a need to buy a plane if the president says so, because I don't want a situation where, God forbid, something happens in the air and then we hear the unfortunate thing. But this government is fond of doing stuff without tendering, so much that we spend so much money on these stuff. And like you said, right now people are paying taxes. I mean, we can differentiate between a need and a want. Is this a need or a want? The president says that this is a need. If there's a need, then there has to be money available for these things. But it cannot be just any amount of money that we're going to use to buy these jets. So I don't know how the government intends to do this, whether they will come up with a tender process to purchase new jets, or just by the history, just go and buy something, come and tell us the cost. So that is my main point. I feel like the Falcon, if the president says it's not good, I wouldn't go with Paul and say that he wants to live like a Arabian king. I have no reason to suspect so. But my question is, how much are we going to buy the new jets? Are we going to do due diligence in buying new jets, or are we still going to go to buy a plane that is almost like the Falcon? That means we have wasted our money. So right. My concern is just the amount we just want to use to buy the jets. I feel like this is a need, and like I said, it is better safe than sorry than to say, oh, the Falcon is running all right and something bad happens. Then we're going to be sorry for ourselves as MPP, as NDC, now as Ghanaians.
But I don't think the issue really is that...
Mr. Muzu, let me raise one issue. I think my brother Atu is misinforming us over here.
Right.
It's not the NDC that is saying the Falcon is not airworthy. The defense minister...
I misspoke then. I'm saying...
Yeah, let me claim the defense minister is on record. And it's a public record in Parliament. When a question was posed to him, is the Falcon airworthy? And he said, yes, it is airworthy. They asked him, why is the president not flying with the Falcon that we've purchased for him? And his answer was that the Falcon cannot do long distance, and that has been disproved to be not to be true. The Falcon can fly 9 hours non-stop. He also raised an issue of capacity, saying that because the president fly, he needs a large entourage. And I am saying on this platform that the Falcon takes 17 crews during the day, and in the night they cut the number down to 15. And the plane, the Arabian planes that he's renting, takes 19 people during the day, and in the night it cuts down to 17. So it is not the NDC that is saying that the air flight or the Falcon is not airworthy.
Right.
We have not stated that. The Minister for Defense has confirmed that the Falcon is airworthy, and that is a fact. Thank
Okay.
you.
Correction.
Before you answer that, right? Let me ask. The president has been spending so much money, on travel, and then he's also borrowed so much, and people are saying that he hasn't built anything, or he hasn't done a lot with the borrowing and all the resources available to him. Do you trust him to be buying this plane because there's a safety issue there which nobody is actually complaining about, or do you think he's just doing it because he's trying to live like a Russian oligarch, like Paul keeps describing?
No, I wouldn't say I trust the president, but in the air, I mean, anytime I fly, I have concerns. I have concerns. So, like I said, this is the president of the nation. This is our president. No matter whether he's MPP or NDC or CPP,
his safety is paramount.
Safety is paramount. Like I'm saying, safety is paramount. I would kick myself in the foot to hear something has happened in air. If the president is saying, okay, I agree with Paul by saying that I heard the minister saying that they cannot travel long distances. That means that that's a concern. If you're buying a plane for a president that cannot travel long distances, that is a concern.
Right.
Like it wouldn't be his own, but I am only concerned about the amount of money that will be used to purchase this jet. That is what we're supposed to be focused on. Because, like I said, we made fun of Atta Mills, good old professor, about how he spoke. But then when we later realized that he had other issues going on, then we felt sorry.
Right.
We all felt sorry. So,
I understand my brother, but let him also note that this same plane has gone to France and be back. And we don't know even who took it to France.
That one is not proven yet, right? The question is still not answered.
It's not answered. So for my brother to be saying that it cannot go long distance, it's a lie. I am saying he is a doctor. He should search on the net. In the aviation sector.
So you, Paul, I'm just quoting what you said. The defense minister said that the plane cannot travel long distances, and I'm just going by that.
I agree with you, and I'm saying that in the aviation sector, if a plane is airworthy, it can go anywhere.
Okay.
The only problem is that you have to refuel.
Question. What about helicopters? Is it airworthy? Helicopters, is it airworthy?
Yeah, but we know the range for the Falcon 900 to be 9 hours, right?
9 hours, my brother.
Even if it is that you have to refuel.
So my question, my question is, can the plane travel from Ghana to the US?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, 9 hours. That's not non-stop. Yes.
Where?
And they've done it before. They've done it before.
Akufo-Addo brought it from Ghana to New York. 9 hours non-stop. Yes, from Accra to New York, 9 hours non-stop in 2018. He brought it.
So okay, no. See, Paul, that's my point. The fact that the plane traveled in 2018 non-stop doesn't mean that currently it's not in that state. That's what I'm saying.
Brother, and I am also telling you that in the aviation industry, they will never allow an airplane to go into the air, even if it is me and you who are nobody. They will not allow that to happen if the flight is not airworthy. That is the fundamental line.
Airworthy means that it can fly, but
yes, it can fly to anywhere.
Go
and check it.
No. That's what I'm saying. Okay. What about a helicopter? You cannot say that it's airworthy.
But we are not talking about helicopter here. We are talking about aircraft.
Down the point. I think
we are not talking about helicopter. We are talking about aircraft. This president is living as an Arabian king. Let's accept it. Let's move on. He is not going to. We are in the minority. We, the NDC, will not give our blessings to this insensitive president to purchase a new jet. We will never do that.
You made the same point for the Jubilee House, but you occupied the first. This Falcon, before did not even enjoy anything around it.
What is paying me that Efa will be here defending them, but Efa will not even have the opportunity to sit in the
how do you know?
£1,000.
Okay, how do you know?
That's my problem. Anyway,
if I get an appointment,
how do you know,
right?
If you will not be able to sit in this 15,000 rented jet, so I don't know why you are even defending this.
You never know. He's taking us all on vacation.
I respect Efa very much. I'll leave it as such.
Quick one. I am not defending. You see, we have institutions. You see, we are always going to have this, I want this, I want that. But at the end of the day...
As far as the institution issue is concerned, all these institutions report to the president. So, again, if the president wanted...
No, it's not. It's not true.
The Air Force, come on, the Minister of Finance reports to the President, the Minister of Defense reports to the President.
So you think the American president can say,
we're not talking about America, we're talking about Ghana.
I won't take the Air Force, that the institutions will make advice and you will bullshit the advice and do whatever you want.
We're talking about Ghana, where the president chooses.
Let me ask my brother Ifa, and then my brother Atu this question. Do they know the president rented a private jet and traveled to go and watch Tottenham?
Man, you see, can you stop peddling all these falsehoods?
It is not falsehood. It is the truth.
Man.
I mean, even
that's in America, Mr. Wilson, in America, Atu and Ifa and you and myself knows that President Trump, or even President Biden, as a president of the United States, anytime the Air Force One takes off into the air, and it's not related with government business, and it's a personal issue, you have to pay for it.
But I mean, Ghana has to have
but that is American policy. You see, you don't have that. Why don't you make that policy back home in your country?
That is why we need to implement the same policy back home in Ghana.
Okay, but you see,
our taxpayers' money.
So I disagree with you when you want to make politics out of the situation instead of bringing a policy framework.
Okay,
you are just scoring political point. You remember the other time I said this thing again, that we will come back to this discussion again.
Yeah, I remember.
And even as we are speaking, we are not even prescribing solution. If we are rejecting this buying of the aircraft, they are going to go on another this thing, and the suggestion will going to be the Falcon can take and use the other one. And we have 3 years to go. What are you talking about?
Okay. 3 years. Akufo wants to buy the presidential jet this year or next year and use it 2 years before leaving office. That is the plan. And we in the minority will not allow it to happen. He's not going to get a new presidential jet. He has to use the Falcon because the Falcon is
build the Jubilee House and you occupy this
guys. Let's build
the Jubilee House and you occupy this part, even though you oppose it. You are enjoying part of the free asset. You always oppose, but we will put the policy in place for us to have a better Ghana.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the last topic. I wanted to talk about, I don't know if you all heard, the special prosecutor did an interview with Nana Abba a couple of days ago. If you've all heard that, I have 1 or 2 questions that I think we should take a quick look at, and then we can bring the program to an end. Let's take a break. We'll be back to talk about that.